Uh, this is, yeah, Chaim will enjoy the story. I don't know what's in. Okay, we'll just tell it as it is, friends. Here we go. So the fellow Khan says he heard this firsthand. No, he's not Pikus Kampi. He says with the Tzemach Tzedek. No, yeah, no, he heard it from someone that relates the story. And that is as follows. In the town of, looks like Harapani, which is in the region of Chernigov. So there's a Rav there, Tzvi, sorry, and rewind here. So the Fall is hearing a story from this Tzvi, this Rav, who related as follows. He heard the following story, that once there was, maybe he's even witness to this, there was a Magefa cholera outbreak in his city. It had happened with him, this Reb Tzvi. So they chose him, they should go to the Tzemach Tzedek with a pan and get a bracha for the Tzemach Tzedek for the outbreak, for the cholera. So they hired a wagon and they sent him to Lubavitch. So this Harab Tzvi, so when he came, he went straight right away. He had the schus to go right away. It was an emergency to go into the Tzemach Tzedek and to give him the pan. The Tzemach Tzedek gave him a bracha and told him, you can go back. So he leaves the Tzemach Tzedek's the hoif, the court, and the Rebbe, and he goes to the hotel, the inn where he's staying, and all the Chassidim are waiting for him, and they're very happy that the Tzemach Tzedek gave an unequivocal bracha. And they sat down, Chassidim do, to Fabrein, and they said a lot of l'chaim together in love and friendship as the nature of Chassidim. They're having a good time, and the day is going on, and he realizes he's got to get on the wagon and go back home. So tells the wagon driver to prepare, and he also changes his clothes, traveling clothes. Traveling in a wagon, it seems some distance. So he took off his kapota, whatever it is he's wearing, So as he's getting ready to board the carriage, the Mesharis, the attendant, the Gabbai of the Tzemach Tzedek comes running and says, "Who's Herschel from Chernigov?" Actually, he calls him Herschel Shvenziander. That was his name. Never wants to see you. So he was mortified because not only is he not dressed, but Gashmi is he just coming, from a heavy Fabrengen. And he didn't occur to him he was going to see the Rebbe again. And now the Rebbe is summoning him after considerable l'chaim. No choice. The Rebbe says he wants to see him. And now, so he comes to the Tzemach Tzedek. And the Tzemach Tzedek says to him, "I want to ask you advice." What's the advice? So he says to him, between Mincha and Ma'ariv, I teach Chassidus publicly, the Kutei Torah. It hadn't been printed yet then, so it was, Tzemach Tzedek had the manuscripts, and he was teaching it. And it occurred to me that better I should learn myself at this time, instead of teaching others. What do you think? So he was again, Mavusa means after the effect of l'chaim, she says, "Rebbeinu, I'm going to tell you a story that I heard." This is what the Rav says to him. So when the Tzemach Tzedek hears that, he goes, Hirsch's Maises. No, you're going to hear a story from Hirsch. So I said to him a story that he had heard from the Mittel Rebbe. It's a story I heard, he says, from the Mittel Rebbe. So that's a Tzemach Tzedek. No, say it. So he said, once your uncle, and father-in-law, that's the Mittler Rebbe, was by Rabbi Isaac Homler. We'll talk about him, Eisel Homler, from the greatest Chassidim. It was Cholamai Pesach. And so Rabbi Eisel says as follows to the Mittler Rebbe. He complained that the Younger Light then complained to the Tzemach Tzedek that Rabbi Eisel is not mekad of them, and he's always busy with his own davening and learning. So that Tzemach Tzedek was there in Hommel on Chol HaMoed Pesach, and the Chassidim approached the Mittler Rebbe, and they said to the Mittler Rebbe that Rabbi Eisel, the Mashpia, is not being mekad of us. So the Mittler Rebbe then asked Rabbi Eisel, why aren't you mekad of the Younger Light and teach them Chassidus? So Rabbi Eisel said to the Mittler Rebbe, and this is the Rav is saying it to the Tzemach Tzedek. Rabbi Eisel said to your father-in-law, your uncle, the previous Rebbe, the Mittler Rebbe, as follows. I'll say in Yiddish. Als ich hab nicht kein Weile wegen sich zu tun, wie kann ich sich vernehmen mit anderen zu tun? I don't have a moment to do with myself, to work on myself, so how can I do and occupy myself with helping others? So the Mittler Rebbe answered him, and this is all the Rav Tzvi telling the Tzemach Tzedek, Eisel, hab mein Natur, learn from me, have my nature. As ich sehe, as ich kann mit sich gar nicht machen, when I see it with myself, I've given up on myself, I can't do anymore. As ich mich schon im Ganzen verloren, but I'm completely hopeless. At least let's do the other fellow a favor and help somebody else. So I finished the story. So Tzedek looks at me and says, okay, now you can go home, b'sholem, to go back home. Thank you. But the Tzvi concluded, when they kind of sobered up, I guess, the whole way home, I would think to myself, Gewalt, what did I do? And I told such a story to the Rebbe that's a Tzemach Tzedek, and he says, I was overcome with dread. In his whole life, it bothered him. However, he adds, it seemed, however, that's what Tzemach Tzedek wanted to hear. That's what he wanted to hear, and that's why I was called at this moment. That Tzemach Tzedek obviously knew what was going on. The Chassidim were verbringing. He knew what kind of matzav I was, and summoned me, because I would never have told such a story other than being in this condition. So it's interesting that the Rav Tzvi, on the one hand, recognized Dashgacha Pratis, and of course, what was the result? That Tzemach Tzedek did continue teaching between Mincha Mariv L'Kutei Torah to the Chassidim. But on the other hand, he felt terrible that he dared, preach or tell the Tzemach Tzedek such a story. So there's many layers to the story, but I think the essential, or the overriding message is, I have to tell you, this is the gift that the Rebbe gave Shluchim, but everybody has the same gift. Every Shliach, every Rav knows this, that by teaching and learning with others, so it's not only, you give up on yourself, learn with others, but it's by learning with others, this reflects back on the Mashpia himself, in a way that even if he worked on himself, just exclusively, he could not reach. Okay.
Yes, Shkoyach. Shkoyach.
Have a good Shabbos. It plays Pesach Sheni. You're stuck in Verfallen. I should not protest this story. You're stuck in Verfallen, so that's a Tzemach Tzedek. So what's the eighth of being stuck in Verfallen? Be mashpia on somebody else. Reach out to another Yid. That's the ultimate solution to the personal stuck in Verfallen.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it, but that's connected here. Okay.
Because of the lack of intimidation.